Da-da-ba-ba-ba-boo. Another day, another $6.3 million. All right, I think we're awake. How do I look? Can you hear me talk? Hi, everybody. Da-da-da-da-da. Just making sure I'm up and alive, people. All right. Good afternoon. Hey, everybody, it's Mike Meyers. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Another exciting day here in Houston, Texas. As always, I start very slow here because it seems that most of the people show up a little on the slow side. So I wish I had something exciting. I had a really quiet weekend. Enjoyed it very, very much. I am back into the world of Warcraft. So Tolowit, if you're on, I am back in. I'm playing Wrath of the Lich King Classic version right now. And I've got a little dwarf hunter called Shalappy, because my old character was called Palappy. Look, this is important for us World of Warcraft people, all right? And I've got her up to 55 and a half. So I'm going to be finally getting out of the classic area and moving into whatever the next zone's called. I don't remember it anymore. So if anybody's a World of Warcraft nut, let me know, and I will say hello to you. As actually told what I saw you on World of Warcraft as well, at least on the thing. Yeah, I'm on different servers. I don't know what I want to do. So, all right, anybody here a gamer? Does anybody play games? Type in what your game of choice is. I'm actually curious. What is, oh, there's so many dumb games out there right now. I was actually going through, I ran out of hard drive space again on my primary system, desktop system, and realized that I had something like 27 gigabytes of games. Then I was like, had to start deleting a few here. World of Tanks, it's a great game. I was playing World of Tanks like even 10 years ago. And actually, I got to meet the chieftain. If you know anything about World of Tanks, you know who the chieftain is. It's this big, tall Irishman who was in the U.S. Army. He was a tank commander. And so I actually got to meet the guy. The guy's like 6'5". He's really tall. And so it was a lot of fun running to him. World of Tanks is a great game. I kind of quit playing it. It started to become pay to win, you know, and so I lost interest. But, you know, I'm always up for a little bit. Overwatch. Tomb Raider. Seriously? K-O-U, am I pronouncing your name right? Kyle Jerome? Tomb Raider. Now that's old school. So for the record, I also still play Age of Empires. So that game came out originally in 1999, but to be honest with you, Microsoft upgraded the graphics and everything about 4 years ago, and it's a beautiful game again. It always was a fun game to play. So somebody needs to come up with a game. The only thing I don't like anymore is like pure Twitch games. You know, I like I'm not going to say a slower paced game. I can do a faster paced game, but I can't just sit there and, you know, go nuts all the time. So Civ 5. Okay, not that slow. Civ 5 is a turn-based game, so I always buy it and I never play it. James Fighter Anthology. I don't even know what that is. Oh, it's a 90s flight simulator. I got to tell you, Will, I don't know if you've looked at Microsoft Flight Simulator lately, but there's this whole new class of add-ons for Microsoft Flight Simulator where literally every switch, every dial, every breaker in the cockpit works. Like everything. And the super hyper realistic gameplay. And it's really impressive. A lot of fun. All right. Looks like we're getting enough people to come in and get things started here a little bit. God of War. Alucard, I haven't seen you for a while, man. Where you been? God of War. I'm literally cutting and pasting these. I want to remember some of these games. I'm kind of looking for Escape from Tarkov. Are you insane? You play these Ruski. I've tried some of those games. I just get murdered. Escape from Tarkov, Arma 3, that entire genre of games where basically all I do is starve to death. I think I'm on the wrong servers for those kinds of games. Either I starve to death or some sniper sits on a hill and headshots newbies all day. I tried the game. It was a little frustrating to say the least. TD Washington, I have to avoid games. No discipline, got addicted. Hazelnut Harvest. Dave, I know you got to be kidding on that one. Fortnite. Flo. Fortnite. See, here's why I have a problem. Fortnite is the ultimate example of a twitchy game. You know, I watch these players who really play Fortnite well, and they building these structures on the fly, and it's a spaz game for me. The precursor to Fortnite, which was PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which had the same idea of the zone getting smaller all the time, I could play that. And actually, speaking of Escape from Tarkov, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds was actually based on, I don't want to be a liar, I think it was an Arma 3 patch, but I could be wrong. Don, what's wrong with Age of Empires? It's a great game. See, Edward agrees with me, Age of Empires. It's just classic gameplay. Come on, man, chess has been around for 1,300 years. We still play that. Fortnite. Don, Unreal Tournament. Do you really still play Unreal Tournament? Seriously? I'm having fun. Will Shaw, my daughter does VR with Microsoft Flight Simulator. It is amazing. God almighty, it's amazing. Patricia, what did you put? Spider Solitaire. Okay, yeah, very funny, Patricia. Well, Patricia, it looks like I might be coming out to visit you. It looks like we're planning for I got to do a trip through Florida in March. So, Patricia, you told me where you lived in Florida. I forgot. It's like Tallahassee or something. Tallahassee's a little bit off the beaten path, but just to hang out with you, buy you a beer, I'll come out and visit you. Al Card, currently working tech support. Thanks to all of you. Hey, you're very welcome, man. My bro does the murdering and he gets the best weapon. No pay to win. Yeah, that's a tough game. Farming Simulator. No, Siegfried, I'm not talking about the games you play on your phone. I'm teasing you. So I'm actually on my phone. There's a game called Polytopia. Poly, P-O-L-Y, like polyester. Topia, which is a turn-based strategy game. So imagine Civ, but much simpler. It's a fun game. I won't tell you the other games I'm playing because it's too embarrassing. Okay, I'll tell you. I got one of those coloring games, like where you press the buttons and you color. I don't know why. It lets me turn my brain off. All right, so it looks like, okay, we got enough folks. How are we doing on time? It's only 2:09. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Hey, everybody, this is Mike Meyers. Welcome to the Monday edition of Mike Meyers Ask Mike Anything. The goal of this live stream is for those of us who are studying CompTIA certifications, in particular A+, Net+, Security+, to have an opportunity to ask me questions. So we do this very simply. You type your questions into the chat window, and then I'll do my best to answer them. While we're talking about that, at the top of your chat window where it says Top Chat, you might want to switch that to Live Chat to get the YouTube algorithm out of the way. And so go ahead and do that. So you're allowed to ask questions anytime you want. Just throw them in. Keep in mind, if I miss a question, you can type it in again. Don't type it in 8 times. I'll see it. Also, Dave Rush is working in the background and will catch them, and he feeds me questions too. So, please ask away. Sidtopia, still playing WoW. Dude, I was just making a little talk. I've been playing a hunter, and I play WoW Classic. The retail WoW it got too weird. I don't know what to describe it. I don't know. I could get into a big speech and I would bore everybody who doesn't play World of Warcraft, so I'm not going to do that. And on top of that, for you WoW players, I'm taking on engineering for the first time. I've been playing WoW since like 2006. No, I wasn't there at the beginning, but I was pretty close. And now I'm trying engineering. You have professions, right? And engineering is hard, and it's a money sink, and I'm going for it. Xerxic, man, everybody's here today. I couldn't get into WoW. I liked EverQuest. Xerxic, I played the original SOE EverQuest in 1999. I wrote a short story about it. I need to bring it up sometime. See, Jeremy Parker, big fan of WoW. I don't know what my server is, or I would tell you guys right now. Intense Beast, what AMD GPU would you recommend for gaming? Whatever the... See, you guys got to remember this. CPUs change so quickly that I don't really keep one in mind. Right now, I've been going more towards Intel than AMD. I've been a big AMD fan for probably a decade. Before that, I was at Intel. So Ryzen processors are fantastic. I've got 2 or 3 of them laying around. I think this one is I got a pretty late generation Ryzen 7 on here. But Intel prices have really become competitive again. And I've been doing a lot of work, really just going with i5s more often than not. You know, late gen i5s, mainly because I get the clock cycles that I need, but I don't need, you know, that much pipeline. I don't need that many cores. I honestly, unless you're really doing something that really takes advantage of cores, like running Blender or something like that, you're, I think that higher end processors, even for a gaming system, are a waste of time. Especially for a gaming system. Don't spend so much on the CPU and spend more on your video card, in my opinion. And that brings up an interesting point about video cards. I mean, if you've been watching over the last couple months, I got an RTX 4090, which is a great card. Can't say that much about the 4070, but the 4090 came out. Very powerful card. And the thing you got to remember is that if you get a higher end video card, they'll last for many years, many, many years. I'm an idiot when it comes to hardware, so I always want the latest and the best and the greatest. But there's 2 places where if you put a little upfront investment in, you can have something that lasts a long time. Number one is video cards. That 4090 will last me 5, 6, 7 years. Yeah, I know other ones will come out, but I just don't push the cards that hard. It was a waste of time for me to even get a 4090, to be honest with you. It's overkill all the way, but I wanted to boast. The second thing that people should invest good money in is monitors. A high-quality monitor will last forever. The only thing that gets me in trouble with monitors is when interfaces change. But I don't think HDMI is going anywhere anytime soon. I get good monitors. Like, for example, right here in front of me, you can't see them, I'm zoomed in a little bit, but I'm running Dooley 4Ks, Acer, IPS, blah, 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 all kinds of good stuff. And, but as long as we don't have like a major upgrade on HDMI or something like that, these monitors will last many, many years, many years. All right, so Dave's saying, HDMI is being replaced rapidly by DisplayPort. Well, Dave, I'm going to kind of push back on that a little bit. Number one, both of these monitors do DisplayPort just as well. I've got multiple input options there. And secondarily, DisplayPort is not supporting DRM. And you see a lot of people who run into problems with that because depending on how the DRM is being handled, I don't know, if your Windows would be a good example, there's some issues there. So, and I go both ways. I got one monitor right now is on HDMI, the other one is DisplayPort. So, and then Andre, I need cores, lots of VMs running. Okay, well okay, Andre, that's a good example where more cores will help. Is certainly VMware. I've never actually checked VirtualBox. Dave, you got to make me do a hypervisor presentation. I'm the one who needs to get back into this. I've been talking about this for what now? 2 weeks? Dave, we got to do it. Dave yelled at me today. He's like, Mike, you talk, you want to do this, this, and this. I need you guys to yell at me more. I really want to, I don't want to make a grandiose promise that I can't do, but it is time to do a review of hypervisors. And let me just keep saying it a couple more times. I promise I'll do it. It would be interesting. So when you see me get quiet and look here, I'm just reading the chat window, guys. Do keep in mind we'll have a little competition day as well, so be ready for that. So you guys can't see, but Dave Rush, he keeps a little Word document. So every time I say, we need to do X, he writes it down, and his retort to me was, here's the list of what you've been talking about. So I'm looking through Dave's list here. Okay, I think we're okay. Is it already 2:37? No. Oh, I see what's happening. Okay, well, let's march on here. Andre, my GTX 1050. I've got a GTX 1070 Ti. Works fine, especially for low impact games like World of Warcraft and Age of Empires. It's plenty. Zootopia 1080i, great family of cards. I avoided, I was pretty heavily invested in the whole 1000 series. I skipped the 20s completely. The 3000 series that was in the middle of all the Corona mess. I couldn't even get one. So I gave up even trying. And now with the 4000 series, it looks like we're finally getting some real supply again. Plus the fact that all the data miners have either given up or switched to ASICs. Are graphics cards a lot cheaper now that crypto has plunged? Yes, a lot. Let me rephrase that. It's not so much that they're cheaper, it's that they're more available. And you actually see them on sale sometimes. But we're not swamped with video cards, not like I would have hoped for. But yeah, they definitely, the fact that crypto's kind of in the doldrums right now has helped with supply a lot. Andre, I'd like a 49-inch ultra-wide, but my budget is stopping me. I got to tell you, when I built the new super system, I did look at some super high-end monitors. I even considered a curved monitor, which I'm really kind of anti-curved monitors personally. I've just been a 2-monitor guy now for 20-some-odd years, and I'm just used to the 2-monitor thing. But I will say, man, there are some impressive, extremely impressive, ultra-wide curved monitors. I would be nervous, not even nervous, but curious how the DirectX would handle that. Surely these games do not have resolutions to match such a unique monitor. Maybe they do, I don't know, or maybe you get letterboxed. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of an expensive thing to find out. I guess I should do some YouTube videos. What are your thoughts on the Threadripper? Threadrippers are great. It has like 16. Dude, Jeremy, you can get i7s. The late generation i7s have 16 cores. Somebody double check me. So I wouldn't be buying the Threadripper just for the cores. I mean, you really got to have something that needs it. People spend way too much money on underutilized CPUs. It's always fun. I'm not going to argue that point. There's panache under a good CPU, but I'm not super enthralled. I do have a Threadripper laying around here somewhere. It's like 2 generations back, but it's a good. But guys, you got to remember, when it comes to CPUs, do this the most, but almost any piece of hardware does this. So I'm going to draw a chart for you, okay? On this chart is performance on the x-axis, and then y is price. And this has not changed in 30 years, okay? So you have super low-end CPUs, and as the performance improves, the price goes up a little bit. It goes up a little bit. It goes up a little bit. And then there's a certain point where all of a sudden the price starts going up really fast, where you're having to pay a lot more money to start getting that performance. This always happens, no exception. And my rule for buying a CPU, and that's why I'm never going to be that kind of guy who can sit there and just rattle off CPU numbers right off the top of my head, because A, they change a lot, and B, the pricing structure changes. So when I'm buying CPUs, I'm sitting there looking, and you can just go get a price list. I have Micro Center here in Houston, and I can go online and look at their price list. And the prices, the performance goes up, and then starts to shoot up like that. I buy right at that corner, always. And that has done well for me for a long, long time. Andre, you're running a GTX 1050. A GTX 1050 only has a gig of RAM on it? That's surprising. I would have thought it was, I thought it was 4. Oh, no big deal. I trust you, Andre. Kimber Parker. U.S. Health, yeah, we got everybody in here, sure. All right. Bum, 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 bum. Xerxes, I have a 65-inch smart TV hooked up to my 3090 entertainment computer. It's not as good as a monitor, even though maybe it needs a better refresh rate. Xerxes, I do the exact same thing. So what I have is I'm probably due for a new TV, but my home theater setup is really, I don't use the tuner at all. I don't have cable in that fashion. It's just a big monitor. I don't like to use Roku or Apple TVs or anything. I'm not against them. There's nothing wrong with them, but I would rather just go to the. I set up a bunch of links on my browser, and if I want to go to Netflix, I click on Netflix. If I want to go to HBO Max, I go to HBO Max, and that kind of a thing. Oh, by the way, if I suddenly disappear, I need to warn you guys that I have a very strange passion. I know. And that passion is, I love the British television series. There's multiple series. The first one started like in the late 70s. It's called All Creatures Great and Small. And they just came out with a 3rd season on PBS. And I don't have a PBS subscription, but I'm probably going to buy one. I mean, I could usually wait and then I can get it some other nefarious way, but All Creatures Great and Small, it's just like, does anybody remember the Andy Griffith Show? You know, it was a television show from the 60s, and it's just like super G-rated and heartwarming, and yeah, so between The Crown and All Creatures Great and Small, I do like some of that British TV, to say the least. Dave Rush, 2 curved monitors. So Dave, these monitors I'm talking about have about like a 42-degree view on them, okay? So it's like this wide. If a monitor gets outside of your primary vision and goes into your periphery, in my opinion, it's a waste of time. That's why I'm a big fan of dual monitors, because dual monitors are well outside of that range, but I'm going to look at one or I'm going to look at the other. This is just, guys, this is personal taste. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you, because, you know, there's good arguments for curved monitors, and boy, are they pretty. Boy, are they immersive. You guys liking that flight simulator stuff? I've watched some YouTube videos on these big curved monitors. They're absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. So the one thing that is kind of fun that I'm starting to see again, kind of disappeared, but now it's coming back with a vengeance, are these gaming stations. You go back 20, 25 years ago, you'd see a lot of people where they would have a yoke like this, and then they'd have like a throttle, and most of these were, good Lord, using joystick connectors, MIDI connectors. And there are some nice setups back in the day. And it seems that there's been a real renaissance of this, you know, gaming chairs with the speakers in them and all this kind of stuff. Certain games, Microsoft Flight Simulator, for example, which is actually designed to take advantage of multiple monitors in different ways. And it's really kind of cool to see those. I mean, I would never do that myself personally, but I've just never been that passionate about any game to probably dump another $6,000 in peripherals. I mean, a chair with speakers is a peripheral, right? And or like the stick. They have something that's called HOTAS, hands on throttle and stick, HOTAS. And so if you're flying like a F-18, that's really how the Navy, does the Air Force have F-18s? Somebody tell me, does the United States Air Force use F-18s, or is it just the Navy? I don't remember. Edward Cost, man, guys, I can't read. I got it. I need to fess up that I need to make my screens bigger, but I'm not right there yet. So Edward, I bought a used 6950X. Nothing wrong with that. You know what? And people, you know, everybody's like NVIDIA. AMD makes great video cards. They're never as powerful. They're never as cutting edge as NVIDIA, but they are good, solid cards. And if I have a system that I know I'm not going to be gaming on, and I'm not going to be doing like super high resolution graphic generation on, I tend to go with lower end cards because they work great. Heck, guys, a lot of times I'll use a built-in graphics. Plenty of systems work just great with the built-in graphics, especially if it's just going to be basically a web browser, or I'm just going to be playing some, watching All Creatures Great and Small. Those lower-end cards are fabulous for that stuff. It's just because, you know, we like to beat our chests and go, we got the best card. I understand. I've been that way too. I'm with you. Looking for questions. Dave, I'm not even sure what Kaby Lake 8E versus 8P cores means. So I had a friend of mine, here, Andre, you're going to like to hear this one. I have a friend of mine who has a place in France. And he's like, Mike, you really ought to consider moving to Europe. And I was like, well, how much is that going to cost? And it was surprisingly inexpensive. Would you guys be upset if I started doing my show from Lisbon? I'm actually thinking about it. I really am. So Jason, you remember the gaming state. Yeah, they're back in a fury. Just to get on YouTube and do Microsoft Flight Simulator. You'll run into all this stuff. Andre, it's just the Navy. There you go. The one European answers the question about the U.S. Air Force. Oh, that's right. I forgot Australia had them too. There you go. Intense beast. I can't read. I can't read, man. Don't get old, guys. Die young. Leave a pretty corpse. Lloyd Christmas. Watch Dumb and Dumber. You know what? I have not watched Dumb and Dumber. I admit it. I've watched excerpts from it. I could have swore we were talking about this last week when Steve was on. I don't know what to tell you. I find, what's his name? What's that actor's name? That comedian. He was in The Grinch, Cable Guy, Jim Carrey. I find him a little irritating. I don't find him that funny. Or like Jerry Lewis. Who the finds Jerry Lewis entertaining? I don't. Hello, pretty lady. It's like, stop. But there's not too many movies that you can catch me on that I haven't seen. Oh, I don't like any of the Marvel movies, you know? It's like, I know, somebody's going, right now. What do you mean you don't like Marvel? What are you, a DC guy? No, I don't like those either. I don't know. It's my call. I like Guardians of the Galaxy. That one was pretty good. 2 of those. So I've not seen Dumb and Dumber. So Lloyd, the whole reason you jumped on was to ask me if I'd seen Dumb and Dumber, huh? The Xerxes. I want to move to Japan. The food is amazing. And you can get it out of a vending machine, right? The Mask was all right. All right, Simon, I'm with you, man. Jim Carrey and Will Ferrell. That one that Will Ferrell did where he played the elf. That was kind of funny. And the other guy who irritates me, I know you're going to really laugh at this one, is Mike Myers. The first Austin Powers was hilarious, and then the next 2 were the exact same movie. And I was like, do something different. Can you spot the Rick and Morty East? Oh, yeah. Or you're not saying that to me. You're saying that to people who are watching. I know where they are. Oh, geez, Dave Rush. I forgot about Liar Liar. Did I try ChatGPT? I did, Flo. It was pretty cool. It certainly didn't make me think it was a human being, but I did fire it up, asked it a couple of questions, you know, do the usual things, ask it a dirty question, see how it responds. Oh, like, you guys never do that? Come on. Zam! Oh my God, good to see you, brother. Jeremy, did they delete you? But I'll tell you, the one thing about ChatGPT that got me interested in stuff is that I started watching a lot of people talking about how the progress of AI, and you know, there's the Elon Musks who are, he used to put up lots of warnings about AI, and now he's like, well, it's just going to happen, so forget about it. But there's some wonderful discussions. I don't know if you're a Joe Rogan fan. Joe Rogan is pop. He's kitsch. But he's not afraid to bring on fairly controversial people. So that's why I like to watch Joe Rogan. You know, I just get the excerpts from YouTube. I'm not on the whatever that thing he's on. But he's had some interesting folks on there discussing AI. He also had this guy talking about the Kennedy assassination. And I'm now completely convinced, without any question, that President John F. Kennedy was killed by the mafia for turning against them. And I'm also convinced that Dorothy Kilgarren, who's a name you should look up, she was a reporter back in the 60s, was about to blow the cover on it, and she was killed. And, well, she committed suicide. That's the official language. But you should check that out. Well, you got your own little conversation going here. Jeremy, you got the Z Fold 2. I thought there was something about you I like. Good man. Who killed JR? We know who killed JR. Guys, I don't want to turn into one of these weird conspiracy theorists, but man, there's some really compelling evidence about not only John F. Kennedy's assassination, but the cover-up where Jack Ruby shot the guy who shot Kennedy. I forgot his name. And then Jack Ruby who killed him. And do your own research, but it's very interesting. There's even a tie-in. You ready? There's a tie-in, and again, this is just edgy conspiracy theory stuff, between Dorothy Kilgarren, who was a well-known journalist, and she was actually on a television show back then called What's My Line, and, you ready? Marilyn Monroe. Both of these women were killed, both of these women committed suicide in pretty much exactly the same way. Barbiturates, Seconal, which is what they had back then, and alcohol. And there's a certain point where I just got to go, man, I think there's some really bad people out there. And here it is 60 years later almost, and they're still covering it up. Yeah. And yes, we did land on the moon, and yes, the earth is round. This is one thing that gets me a little bit. Lee Harvey Oswald, thank you, Sam, I'd forgotten. No, Sirhan killed Robert Kennedy. John Wilkes, okay, shut up. JFK stinks on, it does, Andre, it really does. NG Funnies, just here to say thank you, Sir Mike. You changed my life. Oh, man, thank you, NG. That's awfully nice. Hey, listen, do me a favor. While we're talking here, I'm not getting a lot of questions, but I'm pontificating, and for some reason, you guys like it when I pontificate. I don't know why that is, but we're having fun. Do check out, number one, check out my Discord channel, or it's actually not my Discord channel, it's the unofficial Mike Meyers Discord channel. Dave Resch will put a link in the chat window. Please check it out. There's a great bunch of guys in there, great text. The nice part about the Discord channel is that, like, if you're having problems with a system or something, you can put a camera up, show us what's going on, or share a screen. And honestly, most of the guys, Tolowit, Andre, most of these guys they're better techs than I am. And they're always there to help you out. It's a bit of a rough place, all right? So if you're a little snowflake, you know, be careful. But it's a great bunch of folks on there, and please check it out. And so Dave just put a link up there, and it's great. The other thing to keep in mind, guys, just because you're nice enough to show up today, we give you the 50% discount. It's like I always tell everybody, in order to pass any certification, you need three things. You need instruction, which is either going to be instructor-led. Here goes my nose again. It's either going to be instructor-led, it's going to be videos. Number two, you need reference, which usually manifests as a book. And number three, you need practice questions to test yourself. So just because you're nice enough to show up here today, we give you 50% off on any combined ebook and practice questions, okay? So in order to take advantage of this deal, just head over to www.totalsem.com, head over to the merchant area, and let's say you're interested in Network Plus. You can go in there and get a Network Plus ebook. It's got to be the ebook. You got to get the ebook, and then you get the, my nose is driving me nuts. Get the ebook, and then the TotalTester. That's what we call our practice questions, are the TotalTester. So you put say the Network Plus ebook, and then the Network Plus TotalTester into your cart, and just before you check out, type in the word Rawhide, R-A-W-H-I-D-E, and you get it half off. Folks, I'm already about the cheapest out there, and at 50% off, we're talking double digits to get yourself started on what I would consider the best products out there for a broad cross-section of your testing needs. Oh, yeah, thank you, Dave. Also, guys, if you haven't already, you should at least follow me. Look, if you're on here, you don't have to follow me. Just do a regular connection on LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, you're making a mistake. LinkedIn is where we go to get jobs, to look for jobs, to talk about technology, to join special interest groups. It's all happening on LinkedIn. There is no excuse. Every person listening to me should be on LinkedIn. Yeah, you're not going to see pictures of food, although my last post showed me drinking in New Orleans over New Year's. But I'm old and I'm having fun, so I can get away with it. So Dave put a link on there to connect to me on my LinkedIn account. Come over and say hello. So I don't know if you guys heard, but we had our first graduate from CyberNow Labs who came from the chat group, Michael Liebert. And not only, Mike, are you on today by any chance? I'm talking you up, man. He got into our blue chip program with CyberNow Labs. He graduated, and the next day he got a job offer. So pretty proud of him, making the big money. Very proud of you, man. Way done. There is a recipe page. Okay, I don't even know what that is, Andre. I'm going to ignore it. Wilson, man, I haven't seen you for a little bit too. Mike, I know a lot of people have asked a question like this. to go deeper into networking, is Security Plus the right cert after Net Plus? No, no. I mean, to go into networking, you would probably, once you finish a Network Plus, most people do the trifecta of A plus, Net plus, Security Plus to give you just a core basis. The beautiful part of those three certs is that it gives you a flavor of what's out there in the world of IT. Once you have finished a Network Plus and you're not interested in security, I'd still take Security Plus because security is everywhere. But the next thing you would do from Network Plus is you'd begin to start specializing. You would probably, let's say you're into cable pulling, you take a Bixby certification. Say you're into network administration, you go for your MCSE. Let's say you're into router and switch configuration, you go for Cisco. Let's say you're interested in wireless networking, you go for your certified wireless network professional. Network Plus is the only and the last general networking course you need. From there, you need to start picking a path. Generalists don't make a lot of money in IT. It's specialists who make money. If you want to jack with routers, you're going to go Cisco. You just pretty much have to. If you're going to be going enterprise wireless, you pretty much have to go a certified wireless network professional. If you're going to be pulling cable, by law, at least in the United States, you're going to have a Bixby certification. So there is no Network Plus Plus, if that's what you're asking me, Wilson. Once you do Network Plus, you need to spread out and start making some choices. Congratulations, Michael. Michael did something good. I don't see it. Guru Chaz, can you have Michael on? I'm on right now. Michael who? What are you talking about? Dave, help me out here. What are these guys talking about? Who's Michael? I'm scrolling up as fast as I can. I don't know what you're talking about. God, I missed some interesting conversation here. Oh, we could eat. I'll tell you what. You absolutely can have him on here. I can probably get him on Wednesday. Dave, are we doing anything on Wednesday? Let me call Michael Rilia. So yes, Dave Rush. Let's get Michael Liebert. I always pronounce his last name wrong. We absolutely can. He's that guy's a go-getter, man. He's a machine, and we'll make a point to bring him on. That would be wonderful. Good idea, Dave. Please write that down. Please remind me. He's a great guy. We did a nice promo video with him. See, again, if you're on LinkedIn, you would have caught that. I could probably get him on by Wednesday, but he's working now, so let me talk to him, and I'll bet you a nickel we can have him on next week. He's very gung-ho, he makes me so happy, so successful in the CyberNow Labs program, and that will be done. Flo, what are firewall certs worth in your opinion compared to Security Plus? Like the WatchGuard NSE. Flo, those type of super specialized certifications are usually the type of certs that the company who wants you to know it pay for. You understand? There is a point in your world where you're making money, where you're getting well into the six figures. I know six figures ain't what it used to be, but it's still getting up there, where you stop paying for any certification. Honestly, most of your certifications you're going to pay for are your entry-level ones. I mean, once you get in the door, that's one of the things you talk about, like during the interview process. And you're like, oh, so, do you guys pay for certifications? And how many certifications do you pay for a year? Is there a certification budget? I'm always interested in expanding and helping the company out. through more training? What do you guys offer? That's a very common and a really good question to ask in an interview. Because number one, it shows that you're a go-getter, you're motivated. And then number two, well, you find out whether they're going to pay for anything or not. But that's pretty standard. Kevin Travers, I need to start lifting weights to be able to lift the Mike Meyers CompTIA A+ textbook. What do you mean, man? Come on, it only weighs 6 pounds. Yeah, I know, you got the hardcover. Yeah, but that one weighs a little bit more. Yeah, I got that here too. Doobity-day, doobity-da. Hurrah! Yeah. So it's always funny because, you know, McGraw-Hill, they want me to write an entire A+ book using only 4 pages. You know, I consider myself a creative person, right? And in the business world, the creative people, the creators, the makers are constantly in battle with I used to call them suits, now I call them spreadsheets. The people who only look at Excel spreadsheets. They don't look at the product and what it means, and they don't care. They have no sense of pride of product. Now, look, I'm not saying they don't care at all. They do care, but their focus is on the numbers. And I got to tell you, man, you can learn so much about business by watching the television series Mad Men, especially if you see yourself as a creative type person. And there's the one I don't know if you need to watch Mad Men. I still think that it was probably the best television series ever made. And I'll put that up with Band of Brothers and all kinds of other stuff like that. But there's one episode where this British company buys out the advertising firm, and the guy named Duck Phillips, who's the numbers guy, against Don Draper, the creative guy. It's a life lesson. It's absolutely amazing. So that's a big challenge for me, is how do I deal with the suits? It's always a big issue. For a job that asks what salary do you want, how do you answer that? Usually with a joke. Keep in mind that when a company has a job that they put out, there is a range. There's always a range. And they're not going to go above that range. I mean, unless you're like superstar hitter of some kind. But that's rare, very rare. The spreadsheets, those people have a particular number and they're going to stick to it. So there's really not much of a benefit to get into a big deal on that. I'll usually make a joke and they'll go, so are you da-da-da-da-da? Well, how much money do you want? And I'm like, well, how much money are you offering? And just leave it as a joke. Do keep in mind that by law, at least here in the United States, at least 13 states now require wage transparency. And so a lot of times you know what the range is. Look, so they have a range. Let's say you got a starting job. On the low end range, it's going to pay $85,000. On the high end range, it pays $102,000. All right? If you're good, no matter where you get on that, you're going to hit the top pretty quick. Not too surprising to often see that within a year or 2 years. So I don't get into a big panic over that. And in a lot of companies these days, if you hit the top level, unless you have a real raise in your job function, you're not going to get past that. Companies are learning that they have to lock this in. And basically what they're copying is the United States government GS ranking system. And so good people will always float to the top, and great people will float to the top very quickly. So, pushing for an extra $5,000 a year or something, I wouldn't worry about that. I'd be more interested in what are the benefits, what type of benefit program. I need some detail on that. What are some of the perks? The question I don't ask, I never ask this question, or I do it quickly, is how much vacation do I get? Because when I hear somebody say that to me, that means I don't give a about your job. I just want to know how much vacation I get. And that can be that's a red flag for me. Usually when we talk about vacation, you know, I'll have like 4 questions. And then when it comes to vacation, you'll say something like, well, I assume I get 3 weeks. You know, and you make this hand motion, show it's not that big of a deal. If you don't love your job so much that you're not putting in extra time because it's fun, you're probably in the wrong job, especially if you're a young person. If you're in your 20s or 30s, these are your gladiator years, man. And this is where you put the extra time in. And this is where the bosses see who's doing that. I know this is old-fashioned. I know we all want to be all woke and talk about work-life balance and all that kind of stuff. I want to make money. I want to make a lot of money, all right? And you know what? Maybe I might skip my daughter's birthday. I'll be there that evening after work, and I'll give her a present and give her a big kiss. I don't want to get into the morality here, folks. This is where old Mike Meyers is probably too dated for this new society. And I don't want to go into much personal stuff, but I really do find myself banging my head against corporate bureaucracies that make absolutely no sense to me. I've always been a enfant terrible, and I'm always going to be that way. So I'm going to get off my soapbox. All right, yeah, guys, I promise we'll get Michael on. Simon, Deadwood is I agree. I love Deadwood. It was amazing. Don, here you go asking me. Don, I'm not familiar with SimpliVity boxes. I'm going to have to beg ignorance. I don't know. The 3 sexiest words a tech can say to another tech, right? I don't know. Well, Xerxes, the only thing I would tell you about starting wages that's important is that especially when you're early in your career, I would take less money for a great job. Look, you have to know what your nut is, you know? How much rent do you pay? What's your car note, your insurance, your electrical bill, you know, whatever that is, your taxes. And then you take that number and then you go, this is the number upon which I can live. Technically, anything above that is going out to eat and trips to Disney World or heading to visit me in Lisbon. And then you go above that. So when you're looking at a pay range, you take your nut and then you say, how much more padding do I want? I hope you're saving at least 10%. I don't want to get all Big Brother Mike, but if you're not putting away a percentage of your paycheck every month, man, you guys, take it from a 61-year-old. Money has time value. And I don't care if it's $10. It's shocking, especially if you're in your 20s, how much money you can make. And you'll hear people, well, in 2008, I lost my shirt. In 2020 with COVID, I lost money. Things just keep going up. All right, I'm not going to go that direction. How are we doing on time? Oh my God, it's almost an hour. Hey, Dave, we need to do a competition. All right, guys. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to have a competition. All right. The competition is for 90-day access, free access, obviously, to the practice questions of your choice on the Total Seminars website. So, of course, we have A+, Net+, Security+, but we have a vast library of practice questions that cover not only much more advanced CompTIA certifications, but non-CompTIA certifications as well. So I don't care what you pick, but whoever wins this competition gets free access to whatever they want. So a couple of things. Number one, this competition is not going to be fair. Oh, come on. What's going on here? One moment, please. Minor technical difficulties. I'll get it. I hate computers so much. Okay, I think we're all right. All right, so in this competition, basically the first person who types down an answer that I think is right is going to win 90-day free access. Now, folks, we don't even have 50 people on here, and about half of y'all have won a bunch of times. So number one, if you've won a lot and you still want to compete, type in your answer, but just put the word PASS, P-A-S-S on the end. I'd appreciate that. But other than that, let's go for it. So I want to do a Network Plus question today. I think everybody's ready for a competition. Yeah, they are. All right, guys, ready? Here we go. Network Plus question. Okay, you guys ready? Here's the Network Plus question. I need you to type into the chat window an example, you ready, of a Class A private IPv4 address. Go. First person to type in an example of a Class A private IPv4 address wins. Go. Hey. So USA Health Insurance Reform, you could have just... Guys, you don't have to type pass if you're not playing. Just don't play. Seriously? There are no answers that I find acceptable yet. Both Wilson and Kimber have typed in answers that I don't agree with. YouTube won't display an IP address. Class A. Here, I'm going to try it. Class A. A is an apple. Oh, come on. Seriously, guys? Or type a quotation mark in the... Class A IPv4. Oh. Dang, I didn't realize that. Okay, so Dave Rush has just informed me that unless you are an administrator, you can't actually type an IP address in there. So, oh well. It looks like we did get a good answer in there. Sorry, guys. Hey. Okay, Dave says people are succeeding. I don't know what that means. All right, well, guys, I'm awful sorry. I didn't realize that YouTube was going to have a problem with that. AJ, I love you. The winner is going to be Mokhtar, who absolutely got it right. So Mokhtar was able to type this. Oh, because he put a space in there. Very wise. All right, Mokhtar, you're the winner. AJ, I didn't forget about you, man. No, you don't all win. I'm going to give this one to Mokhtar. Mokhtar, congratulations. You have won 90-day free access to the practice questions of your choice. Mokhtar, in order to take advantage of your prize, you have to... Whoops. Did that work? There we go. Mokhtar, you got to send an email to daver@totalsem.com. In that, put your YouTube name, your email address, and let us know which practice exams you win. So congratulations to you, sir. You have won 90-day free access to the practice questions of your choice. Man, sorry, guys. I didn't realize that we were going to have a problem with that. Oh, well, like I said, I try to be fair, but I'm often not fair. Look, guys, if you didn't win, it's no big deal. Just come back on Wednesday. I'm here every Monday and Wednesday at 2 o'clock Central Time. And as you can see by a lot of people typing pass, we have lots of people who win it all the time. And just come on back. AJ, you come back on Wednesday, and we'll do it again. So congratulations to you, Mokhtar, and look forward to sending that to you. Dave Rush will take care of it. YouTube is weird. If you typed in http:// Yeah, I could see where that might be an issue, but it's okay. They're weird. All right, guys, it looks like we're going to kind of wrap up for the day. It's 3 o'clock. We're going to come back on Wednesday. I am going to call Michael here in about 5 minutes, and I'm going to see if I can get him on. Dave, we're not going to have Michael on Wednesday because I want to have enough time so people will see when he's coming. But I know he'd love to come on. He's a great guy, great presenter. He's been on this channel a number of times. So he's a great guy. Anyway, Bedlin, where have you been? I just saw you were on there. That's very cool. And so I think we've got everything covered. This is your Mike Meyers, buddy, #1 IT author in the world. Still am. And I am out of it. Dave Rush is going to work with me on Michael. We'll have him scheduled. I'll bet you Nickel will have him next week. That's a great one. Fies, this is your Uncle Michael saying bye-bye. Y'all be good.